Yeah, there are quite a number of institutions that have been affected by the ease of doing business reforms, and NCC has been at the center of that reform process. So I think today I'm going to discuss more. What is quite critical about NCC is that we have done quite a number of reviews, and I'm quite sure there are a number coming through as well. I'm going to be talking to you about positioning Zimbabwe through streamlined strategic thinking and corrective processes to effectively deliver NDS2. So the Zimbabwe's 2030 ambitions, as you can see, want to become an upper middle income economy by 2030. Thereby, strategic thinking will become the main thing that we will be tasked to do as leaders in this country. Quite important to understand that taking disruptions that are coming in either from geopolitical conflicts is going to assist us. I think the key strategic pillars under the NDS2, for those that don't have a quite clear understanding of the NDS2, there is macroeconomic stability, human capital development, and all those that are there. But we, as NCC, we fall under Pillar 1, which is macroeconomic stability and policy predictability. It is quite key to you to understand that as a strategic thinking group here today, we need to understand that delivery of the NDS2 is no longer an option in Zimbabwe, but it is now a requirement. One of the things that you must understand about NDS2, it has brought in, I think the minister mentioned it, it has brought in the whole of government thinking. Not the siloed approach that we used to have, not the intimidation that we used to have, but it has brought in a very conducive ground for all of us to become competitive in our spaces. One of the things that we, as NCC, are proposing are three key things: policy coherence, execution speed, and also public value. If you understand that for us to be able to deliver NDS2, there must be coherence and integrated approach from all the players in the country. I like it when the president says, Nika inovaka nevenevayo. It doesn't mean people that are in government like us or politicians. It also means you in your private capacity. You need to play your part to ensure that the policy coherence takes place. The age and era of us trying to demonize policies that at times take time for us to understand where we are going to is over. There must be alignment in terms of how the government is thinking. The public sector or the private sector spoke about heavy impediments that were affecting them in their businesses. Government listened and they engaged their institutions like us to do research, evidence-based research. We produced what we call competitiveness reports, value chain competitiveness reports, which identified exactly impediments that you as the private sector and some of the people in public were facing. I'll tell you, the fees that you've heard about that have come through, France has reduced its prices, city councils have reduced prices. We did all the benchmarking work, wholesalers, licenses. I'm quite sure Zera and Zesa understand what we did to some of these, because we are the institution that does the benchmarking as NCC, and we submit to OPC and our ministry. We are part of the tripartite with the Minister of Finance, also the President and Cabinet, that sits down and reviews these regulations. So the government has done a lot in terms of doing these things for a conducive environment. So it's a time for all of us to be coherent. Next slide, please. We've come up with an executive framework in NCC that we need to share with people in this room, strategic thinkers. First of all, we must start moving away from thinking emotionally, politically, or any other type, but to thinking strategically. We also need to measure the performance that we are doing as a person. If you come to us as NCC and you say as a sector, you say maybe for the dairy sector, this and this regulation is affecting us, and we take it to policymakers, and the policymakers respond, there is also need for you to measure the performance of your organization in the presence of a changed environment, so that you can also feed back to the government and they can celebrate those milestones with the whole nation. I'm quite sure I'm quite understood there. Till they, the impact of the changes that have taken place in your private companies, so that we can submit this back to government, so that they can celebrate with you the progress that this country is making. So one thing that we need to also do is align institutions. It's not that time that we stand and we go to newspapers and we start raising issues, government is failing on this, is failing on that. We have an institution now called NCC. Come to us, tell us what is wrong. We can help you package that, research that, and present it to government in a way that they will understand. If you say it in the press, I'll tell you 100%, there will be no response. But if you bring it to us, we know how to investigate it, because we understand that government as it plays, there are some things that they need to do to stabilize the economy, and things that they need to do to ensure that other sectors that you don't know about are not affected by the rules that you want government to change. So one thing that you must understand is that the policy impact in Zimbabwe, how many are in the dairy sector? None. Okay, I'll tell you a story. In the dairy sector, we did a report last year. The dairy sector told us a number of issues that they had. We did that, and the report, when we took it to the Ministry of Agriculture, he sprang up immediately and that did action. If you understand the reviews that have been there, it's because of that. So I think competitiveness as a delivery issue, what you must understand is that it is not only a business concern, but it is actually a state that we want to achieve as a nation, so that there can be delivery of a conducive environment, so that every business in Zimbabwe can be able to succeed. And I want to close by saying, if ever there's anything that you need in terms of being reviewed on regulations that are affecting your sector, let us know. Just want to close also as well to mention that Tafara Chokera here understood where we came from, because I think she was one of the first ladies in Zimbabwe and in Africa to present at a Global Federation Competitiveness Council meeting that was held virtually, which is a global institutions of competitiveness councils. And I'm quite sure, Mark, as you know, we should be working together, and we are serious. Yes. We want to produce a document that in 2 or 3 years' time, when our football or our sport changes, NCC's name will be right in the beginning. Thank you.